So I guess it's time to talk about a little bit of the request that you guys wanted me to do for a while. Yes, talking about Sinbad no Bouken. Now, actually, I wasn't even going to really talk about this. Like, I know it's shocking, it's manga material, since I was really excited to talk about that. And I'll explain my reasons why, like, in a bit. But just to let people know that this is an adaptation of the manga, of the spin-off, which is a prequel to the manga series that's all telling about one of our favourite characters. You know him, Sinbad. Now, going into the reason why I was kind of a little bit shaken about like why I was going to talk about this in the first place is why, one, it wasn't getting translated, or there wasn't no official release. There was like no, not even any subtitle wanted to do it. It only got like translated recently. I think like another episode is going to come out or something like that, and it was already delayed due to the earthquake. Also, as well, is the fact that from what we already knew from like the start of this is that they was going to be putting new material into this. But they are going to be using stuff from the OVAs, which straight up, that legit start of seeing his birth is like frame by frame, exactly everything from that OVA. And there was like some bits in here as well. I'm glad that they added their own stuff and it wasn't just verbatim the same thing. Like, I was kind of scared that they were just going to just copy and paste the entire episode into there, but no. They actually put down with the slow down with the pacing, so I was really glad with that. It's like with the OVAs, you can just go fucking wild with it. With this, they're like actually doing some stuff, so I'm glad about that. But I don't know how many like episodes and all that, but I do know for the most part that they're pretty much just going to be following the OVAs. And since like I've already seen the material in the manga, and I've seen it in the OVAs, and now I'm seeing it for a third time, you can kind of see a little bit why my excitement is kind of a little bit gone. But I still love manga. That's why I started talking about the manga. So we literally cut to the start of this series where we actually see all the Magis there. We get to see Gyokuen, we get to see like Shahrazade, we get to see Mogami. Like, even a bunch of these characters and all that knew something was happening this day. They noticed the change of the like Luke and all that, human born with like just an insane amount of power. They noticed something was going on in this world, and literally straight fresh from the cooch, Sinbad was born. One thing I can say though I like though, instead like what the OVAs didn't have instead, is that on this one we get to have an actual opening, which like it feels manga-ish and all that. I'm a little bit upset it isn't as good as Hikari from them, and also as well a lot of people are noticing that this is obviously a different animation studio. I believe this is the same animation studio that worked on the OVAs, hence why the same material, that wouldn't make sense to do that. Although you do clearly see immediately maybe like a couple of spoilers already, although like if you've seen the manga material you should know where some of these characters come from, so but it should give you a little bit of like a juice and all that. I believe that the Laydus is the animation studio that does this. My honest thoughts and all that, I really do love the A1's version of Maki a lot. I think this art style really suits well for this prequel. I really like how Sinbad looks. I really like Ho-Ho, like Spars. Like, I like how all of them actually look in this. One thing I liked a little bit more about this episode, like especially than I kind of did with the OVA, as the OVA cut around, like going through like this legit, like kind of like all prequel like stuff. Like it was like, no, we are seeing Sinbad legit, like as he goes from his age, from how he was 5 to now he's going into 14. As you got to see, like that was some fucked up shit and all that they had to do and all that during that time, because like his father got dragged into a war and all that for the country, and even though that's the problem with it, it's like he had one leg after the whole like fishing incident, and even when he went once before, it's like it's really fucked up that he had to do that. And considering as well as like they even let like a guy in and then turned out to be a traitor, and he was like, I believe his name was Darius, and he was like telling like a little Sinbad about like tales of adventure, the Settler Heart Flame, and he was really liking it, and then turning out that he was wanted all along and that he was a massive dig, and I was like, oh, that sucks. But I do appreciate though in this episode, like when you got to see like saying like gonna get, I don't care if anyone calls me a traitor or not, or how they insult me and all that, but I will never forgive anyone who touches my fat, because the guy tried to grab him and he's like, no. Even with that, it's like, you know, even with like still the one leg, like he won't do that kind of shit. It's like, so you can definitely see that fucking manliness runs in the Sinbad bloodline. You can definitely tell that his dad was a fucking G, so he's gonna grow up to be a G. It just feels weird though. It's like I normally like rewatching and stuff like that. Like I do enjoy it and like stuff like that. But considering this is the third version of them like that, like, and I do appreciate now that in time, like where you got to like, it was kind of a little bit misjointed in the OVAs. Like I said before, I do like that we went from 5, then we went to like 9 years later, that we went to his 14-year-old, which kind of takes place where the OVA starts. So I am looking forward to seeing like exactly how they're going to be doing with it, and I know there is going to be new material into that, but we'll honestly have to wait and see, and honestly what they're going to be doing from that. But it's like, overall, I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on that. I don't know whether or not I'm going to be doing, like, you know, more of the episodes or not. It really does depend on the translations. It's a shame that we haven't got, like, you know, sort of like an official translation that'll do it week by week, but even still and all that, it's just like, you know, like, I still enjoy it for what it was, and I really did like the ending and the opening. I mean, it's Magi. Magi has great music. But the last moment, although what was really awesome is like when everyone started calling them trays and all that, because they had kept that guy in their house for a while, and it's like, yo, like when fucking his dad, even there without like, you know, he's got shit kicked out of him one lane, he's like, don't you ever touch my son. Don't you dare touch my family. Like, that bit kind of got to me. I was like, that's what, right now, I love that. And him just go, he knows and all that, like, he ain't gonna fucking survive this war. And he's like, you know, I'm going to this war. Make sure you remember, look at me and all that. This is what it means to go to war. Pulls it off and he has all these scars, missing leg and all that. And it's like, that I really did respect right there and all that. It's like, I watched thousands of people killed and hurt. It's like, that right there, like saying that's a good way to end or like a good episode like that. So it's even still, it's good material. It's just I'm a little bit bummed out. I've had like it wasn't an anime first, like to see this stuff, and it's like seeing it 3 times already. It's like ah. Overall, I still think people that this is their first time watching this, I think they're really going to enjoy this material. But you can definitely see Sinbad's dad was fucking manly. Badass as fuck, and you can see that's why Sinbad's a bit of the G. Although people that know have been reading the manga, they know there's been some twists and turns recently with Sinbad, so it's definitely going to be an interesting light with this anime, like, since we're going to understand a lot more about how much of a conflicting man Sinbad is. So hopefully the show really does exactly what it wants to do. So like even I as well, like when I was reading the material, I was like, ah, that fucking gets to me with this Sinbad stuff. But I'm going to leave it there for you guys. So honestly, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you excited for the Sinbad anime and all that? Did you watch the OVAs as well? Have you read the manga? Personally, I love the manga. I think it's good. I haven't read it in a good long time. The last time I like read something about, I think it was like when Masur was introduced or something like in the series like that. So I don't know where I was in that stuff, but I remember him being introduced, and I don't think I finished that arc with him. So I might have to catch up with the manga again, see if it's any good. But that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.